Isn't it the J's?
No, after
No, it's the
K
Stewart.
goes to S. Oh my God!
I know he
this
got
is
me
horrible.
on that. Yeah, he got me on
Honestly.
that too, Stuart. I'm an idiot.
This is all guys
Okay.
playing games. I'm Ken.
Josh,
Let's do it.
Oh my God!
Oh my god!
You just said it
do
was
it.
me.
Just say your name. Who cares?
Say my name. Say my name.
Welcome back to another episode of Old Guys Playing Games. I'm Ken, and we've got Josh, Jason, and Stuart with me as always. So I thought we'd kick this off by just giving you guys a quick update on my project. I am still trying to physically build a controller, joystick, button unit using a Raspberry Pi, but I did find at GameStop they had this thing from At Games called the Legends Gamer Mini, which is an all-in-one controller with the joystick and the buttons already done, all the cabling already done, and then it uses a wireless dongle that hooks up to your TV, and that's where the software is. So when I first put it in, it wasn't too great. I don't like the At Games interface. I don't like the way they've done it. Plus, you are pretty locked down. They don't have a lot of games available, especially the big names that we're used to. But I did find a mod out there that enables CoinOps X, which is basically an open platform development of how to get those old ROMs from the arcades onto your device, whether it's a Raspberry Pi or a device like this.
Hey Ken,
Yeah.
can you remind folks what your project is? You jumped right in.
Did I?
Yeah, you jumped
Sorry.
right in. You didn't really. For
I'm
those
building
that,
an arcade.
like a full cabinet system.
Yeah. So the original project was I was going to build a cabinet, a cocktail table with all of the arcade games that we grew up with in it, and two players so that me and my wife can compete against each other and all that. And so I had to do a pilot, though. I wanted to do a pilot, so I'm building this little handheld. It's real small, and it plugs directly into your TV. But it's got the joystick, the traditional joystick and the buttons there. So, but as I was saying, the Legends Gamer Mini didn't have very good software. So I found CoinOps X and a whole package and a slew of games for it. So I installed that last weekend and got it working. And me, my wife, and my son were on the couch taking turns playing Galaga and Track and Field and Frogger. And seems to work really well. However, because it is wireless, there is just a bit of lag, and especially when you're playing Frogger, that little bit of lag is deadly.
And this sounds like a one-player experience.
This is, yeah, right now because of this little mini that I've got. But so I looked a little bit further into At Games and the other hardware that they sell. And they also make one called the Legends Ultimate, I think they call it. And it's a full-size, two-player rig, whole cabinet. It's got the display, about a 24-inch display. It's got two players. It's got the dials as well as the trackball. So it enables you to do Tempest and Centipede and games like that. And that also has the ability to be able to get the CoinOps X on there. So I'm comparing right now the price of buying that whole thing and then just modding it versus if I were to build my own cabinet. And surprisingly, this Legends Ultimate cabinet is quite affordable in the long run. So like $5.99 for the whole cabinet, and I can get all the games I want on it through software. And I'm really excited about it. And my wife is really excited about it. She asks me every day, when you gonna buy it? And I'm like, well, hold on, I'm still testing. Want to make sure that this is going to be, in the end, what I really want. So this project might take a change. I might not actually build the cocktail table. if I can get this little mini one working into a format that I like, I think I'll just buy that cabinet, because I think if I do all the costs analysis, it's going to be cheaper for me to buy this cabinet. Now, it's not the cocktail table, but
Sounds like a very agile methodology you're using, Ken, because you're not you're you're bouncing all over. You're trying stuff, doesn't work. Let's turn. Let's try something different.
I'm taking a Google approach, as Stuart would tell us, throwing things at the wall to see what sticks.
Now, is this what is it called? GameX? What's the
So the name of the company is At Games. So it's atgames.net.
like as in
No,
At
it's
sign?
ATGAME.
Oh,
Yes.
that was a
.net.
slur.
And
That was a slur.
on their website, they also have ArcadeNet, which is an online, you can stream games. This device has the ability to stream games from your PC if you have them installed. And it's not just arcade games. You can get console games. You can get PC games. A lot of really good options. They also have this was really cool, and I'm looking forward to trying this. They have the ability to stream your gameplay. So you can tie into your YouTube account
that's cool.
and also stream
From the
your
console?
gameplay.
From the stand-up thing?
From the stand-up thing, even from the mini one that I've got.
That's crazy.
So I'm
Cool.
going to try some of that and see how that goes.
Is the stand-up thing? You know how like these at-home systems now that they sell that have all these, they're not the full height. They're like this more miniaturized.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of the arcade one-up, which is
That's
the ones
the
you'll
one-ups,
see
yeah.
at Walmart, and they're
Yeah.
3/4. They're
I
about
don't like that.
No, they're a little bit
I want
smaller.
the full size.
Yeah, so this Legends one is full size. It's a full cabinet. Now, what's funny is that originally the screens were only about like a 19-inch tube, that was in those arcade games. But this Legends Ultimate comes with a 24-inch LCD, thankfully, not a tube.
If we posted the video instead of just doing the audio, our rating would have to
I'm
be
streaming
like MA, right?
Yeah,
That's
it would.
right. We could be on Disney Plus now, so that's cool.
That's right.
But as I was researching this, I was noticing a lot of different companies that are making products for this. There's actually a bigger market out there than I thought for arcade games, whether it is refurbishing old ones. And I think we've got a couple of friends that do that. Or making brand new ones. Now, the arcade one-up I noticed is specific. They will only put one or two games on it, and it'll be specific to that game, whether it's like Golden Tee or Terminator or Turtles. Whereas the Legends, they want to be an all-in-one. They want to be able to be a multicade, which is really where I want to go.
Well, and I think the one we talked about before, the most expensive one, right? I mean, he builds one with you can get these ones from Mega Arcade or some of the other folks that have every flipping game
Thousands,
ever,
right?
100,000.
What?
Was the number I saw? Yeah. It's because you think it's every console ever made.
Yeah,
up
but how
until
do you
now.
go through that menu system,
Including
Stu?
playing Call of Duty, you have PCs and stuff on there, so you can play almost everything.
But how do you go through that
You-
menu
you-
system? 100,000 games.
It is. They have a bunch of ways to search the menus, but it's one of those things like you could never play.
So it's like, I was just thinking, like Netflix, right? Sometimes I get on Netflix and there's just too much, and I end up not watching anything. When you said that, that's what I felt like. 100,000 games.
Game
I would
Pass
never be
today.
able to choose one.
Well, but the hope would be that you know what you're going in for, right? I mean, I think I was an Amiga guy, so I would go in and say, I want to go through all, 500 or 1,000 Amiga games and see if there's ones I remember that I completely forgot because I haven't touched an Amiga in 30 years, right? So, I mean, I get it. I think you'll probably play 5 games the most. But the fact that you can play anything is sort of cool.
No, it is.
And to Ken's point, like the one you can pull on your lap and you can sort of do remotely. One of the guys, I sent you guys a link there, the guy in Holland who builds the Daniel Spies, who builds like the crazy expensive ones. He built one was, instead of having a big screen on it, which is normally what he does, it uses a screen on your wall and it has a pedestal underneath, but it also has a little remote ROV that you sit on your couch.
Projection, Stu, or it's a
No.
It's a huge LCD.
No, just a 50 or 60 inch LCD. Yeah.
Just
so basically, it could be, it's your regular TV, and then you could also play games on it.
I'm watching it now. Holy moly, that is sweet. Whoa.
But that one's tad
The
more
artwork.
than the one that Ken's talking about.
The artwork
That's not
on
the
this
artwork.
one.
That's not the other artwork. The other one. That's not the one.
Yeah,
Here, I'll show you the other one.
those are really cool. And the other thing that I think that makes them that much more expensive is by the licensing for all the games that they're listing. I don't plan to have all of those type of games on there. I will, pick and choose which ones I want. Because I have been going through the list that I got in this CoinOps X, and there's stuff in there from Japan, and stuff that I'll never understand, never want to play. There's tons of fighter games, because that was hugely popular in the 90s, and I'll never play those, but just to make it easier to get around, I will be definitely going through and picking and choosing and removing what I don't want, which is nice to do when you're modding things.
Yeah. It's funny that, I'm just thinking like all these games, right? Like we have such little time to play. It's like I go straight to Call of Duty, and maybe that's because it's comfort zone. But at the same time, I was thinking when you really would want to have this is when you were 15 years old. And at that time you can't afford, like who's going to be able to spend $700,000, however much it's costing you to build this. Like, but now it's almost like a novelty thing, right? Like
but part of it is we can do it now,
right?
So
that's
the kid in us goes,
"Yep,
I got everything I ever wanted."
Right.
So
well, not just that, but we are of a generation where we grew up on video games. So now the marketplace is starting to develop affordable cabinet arcade games for the people our age that want to have that, because if back in the day, if you wanted a cabinet arcade game, it was thousands of dollars. You couldn't get them. Yeah. I was very fortunate. I had a friend of mine who lived behind a convenience store that had video games, and when he would swap out video games, he would store them in my buddy's garage. So we would go in there, plug it in, hit the coin return, and play all day. But not everybody had that opportunity, and you couldn't afford to do that. And even today, if you were to buy an arcade cabinet, an official one, they're insanely expensive. But there are companies like Arcade 1-Up and At Games that are building these for our generation that want this stuff at home.
Right.
Cool.
It's very cool, and there's a bigger market than I thought. But I saw an article, by the way, just happened to come in my news feed. The arcade gaming market is supposedly going to grow to $1.6 billion between now and 2025.
I was thinking about that. I was reading that article, and is that a lot more than it used to be? Like, or is that just a number we're saying, oh, that's huge? Is it because of the pandemic? Why do you think that is? Like,
I'm shocked. The reason I brought it, I was shocked that the arcades are still making money and that there are companies out there still making arcade games. So to find out that it's a $1.6 billion projection for the next 4 or 5 years, I was like, are you kidding me? I thought that was a dying market. Are you guys?
I'm thinking like everybody's home now, or they have been home. Now they're rethinking staying home, and they're like, oh, let me get a couple arcade games and throw these in my house, and it'll be like silver spoons,
Yeah, I think that's it. Silver spoon.
Love that. So jealous of that kid.
And my bed.
Now, keep in mind, this is 52% of this is Asia Pacific. And we know that the Japanese and the Chinese are really big about arcades. That's huge for that culture. But I was still very surprised that it was that much money.
Cool. I think it's cool, and I like the fact that you don't have to get multiple. I mean, you see some of those people online that have all the 1-Up machines, and it's like it takes up a full room, and you can't even imagine the juice those things are sucking down and all those power. So to have it all in one machine is nice. Even if it's a ginormous machine, it still takes up less space. So I'll say I am tempted, but right now, it's like I just know every time I've gone back and bought those old things and played them, I like playing them. I'm like,
that's what I always fear with those, right?
Yeah. No, I totally understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish building the small one. Okay. I'm going to prove it out,
but see,
get it stable, different. And then I'm going to send it to you guys. I want to send it to you guys and have you play it and give me your opinions on it.
I was thinking about this too, Ken. I feel like it's different. You're doing it differently. This is your hobby. This is a passion for you, right? Like,
Sure.
it's different, right? It's like these shoes in the back for me. Like I would spend hours trying to figure out how to get those shoes, right?
Right.
You're spending hours trying to figure out how to make this cabinet the best way so that it doesn't have lag on the wireless controller. And,
Well, yeah, but it's so. The thing that keep coming back to though is when we went to Replay Museum and how much fun we had and how much time we spent there, you know, and the games that we played when we were there. Having that ability to, you know, oh look, I've got a half an hour before I have to go to the doctor appointment. Let me go ahead and turn this on real quick and play a few games of Galaga or Ikari Warriors or something like that.
Well, and it's the high score. It's the
Yes.
I mean, it's the same thing we do in playing the game. No matter which games we're playing, whether it's new ones or those, it's the idea of I can do better. Right?
Yeah,
I'm going to do better. It's going to get, and I think that's the part of, like, I mean, when I went back to Replay Museum, I went straight to Burger Time and Missile Command. I'm like, if I'm not the high score, I'm going to be right.
You know, it's
And
funny
that's
you
fun
mentioned that because my wife was playing Galaga when my son walked up and he's looking at it. He goes, is that the high score? I mean, he said, yeah, right now that is. He goes, okay, not anymore. And he grabbed it from her and he played it for the next 20 minutes trying to beat that score. So it was very kind of cool. It was very cool to see him playing Galaga of all things, you know.
I like it.
It's competition, right?
Like it is.
It's good parenting,
you know,
Ken. It's good parenting.
It's like us on the leaderboard, right? Like,
right.
We all want to be at the top of the leaderboard.
That's right.
Even
all
if
right.
we don't spend as much time on the patrol zone, like
And we hate when we get hate when we get runner up or
That's right.
honorable mention.
Honorable
Don't vote
mention
for me.
Yeah.
Don't
Why
vote for
even
it.
bother?
Don't do it.
Why even bother?
All right.
Anyway.
That's enough about arcade game, my little project. So we'll
Is
take
it
a
enough
quick,
though?
I'm going to continue talking about it after we get off this podcast. But
Passion, man. That's what it is. It's a passion. There's nothing wrong with
it's
that.
fun.
No, I think
it's fun for
okay,
me.
I got an idea. We should go find there's 100,000 games out there.
There's a lot.
We should go find each of us next episode, come back with 2 or 3, let's say 3 games that we forgot about. So let's go search for the games, go to those sites, look at the list of games, and come back with those 3 games and give us a quick synopsis of those games that you forgot that you went, oh my God, because it's like Jason, we run around in Call of Duty. I've never been in this spot. This is amazing. So we should come back with those games we played.
I found another one
earlier today.
Yeah,
I did find another one today.
I was never there.
I remember you're
I've never
shocked by
seen
that, Ken.
this.
It was
Oh my
called-
gosh.
It was
I
called
just found
Bocage. You'd never been there before. I've never been to
Guys.
Bocage map before.
Karate Champ.
Oh yeah.
So you,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
you
it,
got to save it
Replay.
for next week.
I got the
Yes.
high score
I got
there,
video
man.
of Josh playing Karate Champ.
$1,400
baby.
for this vintage 1984 Data East Karate Champ arcade
You should
machine,
buy it.
fully
You
working.
should buy it.
Amazing.
It's
$1,400.
like 3 purses. Go buy one.
Amazing.
One, no, it's the third of a purse. Go get one.
Ugh. All right. We'll
put
take
Louis,
a quick
get Louis
break.
Vuitton vinyl and stick
and
it
then
on the side.
we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about other things.
Intriguing.
All right, we are back, and I wanted to shift gears a little bit. I admit I let my son have an iPhone. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't gonna do it. We were an Android
therapy?
household.
Are you
To
having
the
to
90s, Mr.
iPhone?
Bond.
What the hell, dude? No, you're dead to me. Not because he has a phone, because he's become a sheep.
But hold on. I am still Android. My
All
wife is still
Android
Android.
users are wolves.
That's right. I'm
Funny,
American.
It's 2v2 here, right?
But
2v2.
yeah, it is. So, but the one thing that he was reluctant to tell me about only because he doesn't like asking for things. He doesn't beg me for stuff, you know. And it's also one of those things. Well, everybody else has got one, you know. I want to have one too, but I don't want to ask my dad because I have a phone that works fine. Apparently, they're all playing these games that are exclusive to Apple, and they're not app games. They're text based games that you can't play anywhere outside of Apple. Now, I was talking to Josh about this. And Josh, you had played with your son recently, right?
Yeah. We were sitting in a restaurant. We were at Universal Studios. We went to dinner. We go out to the restaurant. They're like, we forgot to make a reservation, of course. So you would be sitting here for an hour. So they started, hey, let's play Uno. Let's play archery. Let's play word finding games. There was like 50 games, and we passed an hour doing this. And
Well, how are
it's
they
not
playing
something
it?
you're going to sit around your couch, I don't think. At least I wouldn't, right? Because I'm going to get on my Xbox. But I was thinking, like, there's so many different ways to engage with a game, whether it's Game
So this
Pigeon,
is-
Xbox,
yeah, so this is-
what you're doing, Ken, with the cabinets. It's
Right.
crazy.
So
It's
what they're
absolutely
doing
crazy.
is Game Pigeon, right? This is an app that ties in, that sends the game interaction via text messaging.
Yeah,
because I haven't done it myself. So
Yeah, there's no app, there's no like native app on the phone. It's all embedded within the iMessage stuff, right? So you add you actually you download it. Sorry, you do download it from the App Store, but it doesn't sit on your home screen. It's just
Mhm.
embedded in the iMessage, right? And then
it's like a plugin or something.
yeah, it's a plugin. You click on it, and then all the games show at the bottom, and you choose one. You choose who you want to play against, and then you go, and then it texts them saying your turn. Then they go, and it texts back to you, and you can play. We played Uno, right? Which is it's very like real time. If we're all sitting there, we're playing it.
Right.
But then if you play pool, like I go, it's his turn. He may wait 5 minutes. He may wait a day, but it's still there. He can come back and finish the game.
But are all the games that independent of time? Like you said,
I think
Uno.
s-
Could you
But
play Uno that way?
is the same, right? You could just not. I think I have to remember what Uno. Uno might have been a little different, but most of them that we were playing was like just the back and forth, right? You just go, then they go, you go, then they go. But I actually, now that I think about that, Uno might have been more. We were all had to be sitting on it. You needed 3 people to play. Yeah, so I think that one was more of like you needed to be there, but the other ones were just back and forth, and it was like. I'd played it before, but it was such a great time waster at that
Right.
moment. It's crazy. I loved it.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to play. I could see that being fun for the people that are, have ADHD or something where they can't concentrate and sit down and sit still for a long period of time, but they can come back to it periodically throughout the day or once a day or something, kind of like Wordle. But that's really cool. I wish they had something like that for Android. I'm sure Google will find a way to steal that later.
I mean, I guess, if you guys had iPhones, you could play it, but
No.
we won't go down that path, right?
No,
Jason?
no.
Well, welcome
Jason,
your son to the iPhone community.
Yeah.
We're happy to have him.
Well, that's fine. Just don't corrupt them, would you please? All right.
It's all collecting data, though, right, Stuart? It doesn't matter. They all collect data.
Only Apple.
Actually, I would say Apple's probably one of the ones that collects the least. But
Yeah. Okay.
I don't believe that at all.
I'm waiting for the Elon phone. I want the Elon phone.
Elon phone. All right. I saw this in the news the other day. Actually, I take that back. My brother told me about this. There's a concept car coming out from Audi called the e-tron Aventa, I think is what it's called.
You mean the station wagon?
Yeah. And it was a cool looking car and all that, blah blah blah. But what really struck me was that it's an electric car and the ability to, when you're parked, charging your car, if you're facing a wall, you can play a video game projected by the headlights onto that wall.
Good, Jason. He's done.
I mean, really? Is this what we're doing? Like, I
This
read
is
that
amazing.
article and I was like,
That's awesome.
Well, think about it.
this?
Okay, so
You need
think about
this?
it. Gas cars, you could fill up pretty quick and you're out the door, right? So electric cars can't quite do that. The best you can do is maybe about 20 minutes with a fast charger or something,
but you got to have
Jason-
a wall in front of you, though, right?
Do you have to have a wall in front of you? Now, I watched the game. Now, the game was actually produced by Audi. It looks like it's very rudimentary. I hear you. Also, it's monochrome
Worse
because
with
all it is a digital, lights that are showing this. So it's grayscale and black and white. And it looked like it was just really a navigation game that you were playing. So it wasn't like you were playing Galaga or Pac-Man or whatever, but you play it from your phone. So they were saying, well, you can either play it from within the car, or you can go outside while your car's being charged and have this giant screen in front of
No,
you.
this is lame.
This just screams
This is
unnecessary. Like,
I mean, Elon did it right. Elon did it right. You can play it touch on this touch screen, or you can some of the games you can play with the steering wheel.
I mean, if they
Again,
don't have the
right.
fart sounds like the
Unnecessary. It's a
Teslas,
car.
what's the point?
No, it's totally necessary. How many times have you sat somewhere waiting for something?
So
Waiting?
pick up your phone.
No. Like playing it on that screen with the
In
surround
some states,
sound
that's
audio.
illegal, Josh.
It's amazing.
Josh, you're sounding like
Look,
Brad
I mean, look,
McNally.
No, he's saying if you're stopped waiting for something.
No,
Like,
What
that's
I want to
illegal.
do is play video games on the back of the cars
Waiting
in front
for
of
your
me,
kids
and I can
finish
play
them.
like shooter games in the
Yeah.
back of their thing. Well, I think it's. I'll say this as an Audi guy, and I've been an Audi guy for 20 plus years. They're not really good at electronics.
understatement.
I love them, but they're not good at. They're very
beautiful
German
cars.
when it comes to certain beautiful cars. They're not good
Super
at cup holders.
powerful.
They're not good at electronics. They're not good at the entertainment side. They've gotten better. Like my new car has got way better, and it's way better than it used to be. But they literally are always going to be a rev or two behind, like the Lightning or some of those things that are out there. So while it's a gimmick, right?
Sure.
I'm
I'm not saying we all need this in our lives.
Well, but I like the idea. But I like the idea because it's not very German of them, right? That there's engineers going. We have laser headlights,
right?
We can use them as laser displays. Hey, let's display a video game. I think that's a cool idea. And they said let's do it.
The article even said that it's very un-German like to do that.
Very un-German.
Yeah. I like the idea. I mean, even if it showed a video clip or a movie or something on that big screen, I thought that was really, really cool that you could utilize your headlights for something else, because you will have some downtime, right? You're waiting for something, whether you're waiting for a doctor appointment, you're waiting for your car to charge, you're waiting for something, you can do something while you're in the car.
Now, if I can find a hacker, Ken, that can hack it and display the words "move out of my way" to the people in front of me,
right?
I'm in.
Yeah, they can see that there.
Let me just be clear. You need
because it'll be backwards in their mirror.
You need a wall in front of you, right?
You do need a wall.
Yeah, but maybe I can display on the back.
I want everyone for the next week to think about this and how many times you're sitting stopped and you have a wall in front of you that you could display a game on.
You always got to kill it.
You know.
I'm just saying.
I almost made a German joke and I pulled back on that one.
No German jokes, please.
Wow.
No German jokes.
Yeah, let's not do that.
No German wall jokes, please.
If Trump was still in office, though, we would have walls everywhere, right? So there we go.
At least on the
maybe.
So I pulled back on the German joke, but I went all in on the Trump joke.
If you could project the old like graffiti from the Berlin Wall onto your home garage
there you
wall,
go.
Or how about this one? If it's at home and charging, it can do cool art on your garage wall while it's sitting in there. So that doesn't hurt anything. No one's driving. Josh doesn't.
Idea.
But it can do cool stuff on your wall, and it can give you like when you get in the car, you can look up and maybe it has the temperature for the day or your schedule up on your wall when you get in the car. Right?
Awesome idea.
Or the details for what you're building in the garage.
Some of us think further than this is a stupid idea.
I didn't say it was a stupid idea. I'm just talking practicality of it. How are you gonna?
What if it said?
I mean, so pragmatic.
What does it say? What does it say behind Josh right now? Somebody tell me.
Blank walls are criminal.
Right, but if you don't have a wall, it can't be blank.
Wow, Stuart.
There's no wall. You're just projecting light into the air.
Your Honor, I rest my case. It's done. You can't.
Explain how that makes sense. If you don't have a wall,
you're saying we're saying there is a wall in front of you, and Audi's saying it doesn't need to be blank when there is one in front of you, and you are clearly a believer in this.
How often?
What if?
All right, hold on.
Does the
Let's be clear, everybody. Josh lives in Florida. It's as flat as can be.
Flat.
Right. And how does
they don't have walls in Florida. It's all flat, palm trees.
So do you have more walls in Carolina and North Carolina?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Mark
sold that wall
and build that wall. Park in front.
All right, so
cities
have a lot of parking garages, and I think that's what they're trying to do with especially when the Germans think about it.
I like the idea of displaying stuff on my home wall when I get in the car.
No, I get it. I agree.
Anyway, or pictures of my kids, so Jason's kids, so Jason can cry. Look at him. He did that.
All right, so
every day, like to remind you.
What's going on with Gran Turismo?
Did you guys read any of this stuff this week? Gran Turismo came out number 7, and there was and if I'm not mistaken, it is all PlayStation first. So it only has arrived on PlayStation. And they had massive issues with the servers. And even when the servers were up, there was a few things. The streaming from the game was horrible and the servers were having issues. And then even if you were playing offline, it was having issues. So it was like any direction people tried to play this game, there were tremendous issues, leading to it getting one of the lowest ratings on PlayStation right now. So it just shows you how important it is at launch with a game that is that storied. I mean, how long have we played Gran Turismo? You got to launch knowing that you've got the capacity. Right? They didn't put enough story points in the in the
infrastructure right there.
That's right.
That's not necessarily
an infrastructure play, but major fail, because that is such a gorgeous game.
I mean, that
would
is
be so
so they
frustrating.
can't even offline. It was causing problems.
Even offline.
How do you deliver a product that you know is going to fail when the customer touches it?
I mean, obviously no testing, right?
Well,
they didn't test it at scale, right?
What was the big game they released last year that had been coming out for 10 years was an epic fail?
It's, Sony again?
It was everybody. What was it, Ken?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What kind of game?
Like a GTA, but you're running around a city. It's like Matrix. It had Keanu Reeves' voice.
It was that Cyberpunk one, Jason, that you were
Cyberpunk.
Cyber something.
Cyberpunk
something, yeah.
70.
Yeah,
it's so sad that none of us can.
Well, but the point is that was like, people have been waiting for that game for a decade, right? It was
Cyberpunk 2077.
But but it goes back to Call of Duty too.
But they released a crappy game.
We have issues even with Call of Duty with servers and stuff.
And we're not the only ones, right?
Right, but this is just like you said, it's an epic fail to put something out like this by such a huge studio company, whatever it's called, to not test it, which I'm sure they didn't at scale, like Jason said. That's crazy.
With such a large population of gamers that are willing to beta test things, capitalize on that. Use us as your test monkeys. I mean, please don't release a game unless you've thoroughly tested this thing, because you are doing yourself a disservice and you're really alienating your bread and butter, your customers. So I mean, it boggles my mind that you can do that. I mean, how would you feel if you went and you spent $20 to go to see a movie in the theater and you saw insert graphics here or, graphic explosion coming later? It's like, what is going on? Why isn't this not done? Why are you giving this to me? Why are you making me spend money on this when it's not done?
Yeah, I think that's right. And there are movies like that. I mean, I think the last Wonder Woman movie, which was horrible, had some really bad CGI in it. Like, you can afford CGI, right? I mean, it's like, and if you just took me out of the realism, not the real, the world I was in, because it was like, oh, that was bad, right? And then video games do that too. They do the same thing, and I think maybe they're overreaching. Maybe there's definitely talent shortage. There's definitely all of that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, the problem is you hurt your franchise and you're done in these games, right? It takes and the amount of money they're spending developing these things now, it's a big loss. I mean, it's worse than a movie's loss, right?
Well, do you think that it's a creative versus business decision where you've got the business saying, well, look, we got to make money. You got to put something out.
Hard to tell.
I don't care if it's done, and then the creative is saying, look, I know it's not done. I can't get this to work. Whenever they go here, it's going to crash.
This is classic, delivery, right? IT delivery. I mean, it is. It happens in a small app. It happens in Gran Turismo. It's always that battle of, is it really ready? Have we tested it enough? And it sounds like this was a colossal failure. And maybe you're right. Maybe they were just saying we got to get it out because we'd have it out, and that's it.
Don't you think that this happens more on Sony? I mean, are we just Xboxers so deeply in that camp that it feels that way? But to me, it feels like Sony has more of these fail launches like this.
It's hard to. I mean, I don't know. It just maybe it feels that way, but I don't know. I mean, I think.
Well, Sony's just the delivery. It's the developers that build these that are making them problems.
Yeah, but they govern what quality of stuff makes it up on their platform.
But it's like the
That is
App
true.
Store, right? Like you can get an app through there. They're not necessarily, stress testing the whole thing. They're assuming that you're spending your money on doing that, right?
It rubs off on them really poorly. Like a
Of
game
course.
that big, right? You would make sure if you were a platform that a massive launch like that would launch on your platform to be near perfect, because unfortunately people will say, oh yeah, on PlayStation, right? They sort of even forget the name of the game. It just says another Sony failure.
Do you think that hurts a console sale? Like, I feel like people are so loyal to their consoles that
Yeah,
it would
that's
take
true.
many of those failures to sway you to Xbox or vice versa.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, is that I don't think that necessarily hurts the Sony and the console, but I think it would definitely hurt the production company, whoever pushes that out. I can't remember who does Gran Turismo, but I could see it really hurting them.
Yeah, it's sad that happens, but
Crazy.
especially on a title like that.
Yeah, I mean, that title prides itself on being very detailed and very real, because you look at the pictures they show, and the cars look so real, and you always see it in the news that it's you can't tell if it's real or if it's a video game type, when they show you a picture, and then they come out and they say, yeah, well, we make these realistic cars, but you can't drive them because they break.
What a handsome guy.
So Jason,
I
you
missed
had Netflix. So Netflix made an announcement that they are going to kind of charge you a little bit more for sharing your password. And it doesn't really affect people that don't have kids in college unless you're sharing it with your parents, 15 states away. But how does this affect you guys? You
Well,
guys
I
have
mean,
kids in school.
Can somebody just explain how? Because I didn't read exactly how it's going to work. Can you guys just explain that real quick?
I mean, the gist of it is they don't want password sharing. They
Right.
can tell really easily that you're using a password in multiple, parts of the world, right? And those of us that have kids away at school, or even
That's
Right.
fine.
so, just do all that I think they need to do to correct this, so they're not getting into where they're going to try to really take advantage of. And there would some people would say that they're taking advantage of Netflix because they're using passwords. But the idea that a family like Spotify did it, they
Yep,
have a Spotify
exactly.
family plan.
Exactly.
All they need to do is create a family plan that says you and
3
six
others.
people in your
have,
family.
which they have, right? Which they have. I think they're well within the right to crack down, because they're not talking about sharing within families. They're talking about sharing outside of families, right?
Yeah, but
And
how
I think-
do they determine that? I mean, because
Well, they know
you've
by
got
the-
a
they
kid,
know by
you've
the-
got a kid in Connecticut,
Mhm.
and how are they to know that IP
There's
address that they can tell is from Connecticut?
They know because you authorize a login, and it's actually you have to reauthorize that every so many months. Like I have to do that with YouTube TV, where my son's in college and his YouTube TV, because he's away for so long, they know he's not visiting. I have to reauthorize it every once in a while to say yes, he is my son, and yes, I've given him permission, which is fine, right?
Well, you could do the same thing for a fraternity brother in Wisconsin.
In theory, you could, and I think you're going to have to, you're going to get X number of people, but I think the rules, like when you set them up, you have to put in some information, other stuff. Look, I think they're well within their rights. There are a lot of people that share passwords outside of families.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's the deal.
Which by the way is stupid anyway, but let's not get past that point.
Well, that
It's
goes
just-
against the agreement, right? That goes against the
Correct.
contract that you have.
correct,
with
but
Netflix.
family doesn't. Family
Correct.
doesn't.
Correct.
So here's what they're going to do. You
do you
can
think-
add an extra member. Members on our standard and premium plans will be able to add sub accounts for up to 2 people they don't live with, each with their own profile, personalized recommendations, login, and password.
So they're allowing you to do it, but they're going to charge you more for the ability to do that.
That's
But
right.
so
Is that what's going on?
I tried to figure out, we have 4 profiles right now.
So do we. But so it says, how do they know don't live with you? Like, that you just put in the same address? Like,
IP address. They'll know if they're not in the same location, basically.
So it sounds like to me, though, that they're going to, like, I have 3 profiles, but we all live in the same house. So if at any point in time I use my Netflix not in my house, on one of those other profiles, they're going to say, "Oh, you're sharing your password, so now you owe us an additional $2."
Not if you log in, because you'll have to do authenticate logins. So you're fine.
Yeah,
so like I do that Roku all the time.
But
Here's my question.
you're not. What this sounds like, they're still charging more money for this because they're not. Doesn't look like they're trying to subvert the people that are gaming the system. It sounds like they're charging more for you to have the ability to have
sub accounts
outside of your house.
It's interesting that they're starting
outside of your family unit. I think I'm going to go look. I have to read. So I mean, I don't think
the link that I just shared, because they're starting this in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru, which is interesting because you sort of wonder why. Are they starting it there because they have rampant issues in South and Central America?
Probably,
or
yeah. But the question is, what's the reason they're doing it? To get more legit subscriptions? Do they really think that that's going to do it? Because there's so many streaming services.
So you can add 2 people that you don't live with. Okay.
Like, what's the end game though of doing it? Pissing off all your
I mean, they're getting,
right?
but people, no, not customers. People are stealing from them right now. Let's be honest. They're stealing from them.
True. I got it. No, I get it, but are they going to turn around and subscribe? Like,
when the reality, now,
they're just going to go get another free subscription on another platform.
Probably not. And the flip side of that is maybe they should stop making crappy content and spend all the money on that, and maybe get better content.
Stu does not watch Netflix. Money, right? Stu watches every
day. How much great stuff is on Netflix that okay, I'll just go somewhere else.
I think this is a typical thing where there have been too many people abusing it that they ruined it for the ones that weren't.
Is this like a shareholder thing? Like what is this? It looks good that they're doing it. I don't know.
Is it Lars Ulrich? Is he involved in this?
Lars Ulrich,
Metallica,
Ticketmaster.
Yeah, come on, Ticketmaster
and
the.
Is this yeah?
No, that was
Foo Fighters and Neil Young, right? All those people.
What was the Napster? Napster.
Oh yeah.
Stealing songs.
I'm sure Ken never used Napster back in the day.
It took me this long to remember what it was called, so of course I've never used Napster. I used something else. But anyway,
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
All right, we haven't talked about Call of Duty at all, except just these little random comments. Does anybody have anything they want to share?
One thing. We are 3 in a row now because we played again Caldera Resurgence. The 3 of us did without Ken, and we won again. So that's 3 in a row. Stu finished actually, and that's 2 in a row. That Stu was the last guy.
Nice.
Nice. Finished last.
So he was sitting next to me when we won.
Don't do that with your mic thing.
Sorry. He says, "Is that real?" I was like, "It's Resurgence. Like we won." He doesn't count it because it's not Battle Royale. Like,
yeah, my son says the same thing. What? Yeah,
you come in first.
You get on here and bring your team.
Let's play
bring
them.
your team, Junior.
Let's go. Bring it.
Let's go. We won 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't die
at all.
So no.
Wow, that's pretty good. I don't think I can play that game without dying.
Did you know that you can not kill another player by putting down a barrier? What are those things?
Ken, were you on last night with us?
I heard this story. I think it was online, yeah.
I almost peed myself.
A deployable cover. You cannot kill another player with deployable cover. If you thought you could, you cannot.
That is the typical Jason's jumping around, hitting buttons. Oh, deployable cover. Oh,
I love for the image for the listeners. Josh explaining, watching the difference between Ken and Jason play the game. Where Ken is very deliberate, very crouchy, and Jason within the dormitory is bouncing from bed to bed to bed to bed.
This is what I'm
Ken's
saying.
Ken's the sloth on that one movie, like at the DMV. That's Ken.
That's Ken. He's deliberate.
Speedy.
He's deliberate. And Jason is the one's like, hey, let's get out of the car. And he's already gone. Like, you can't hear the last word. And he deploys deployable covers on his gentleman.
In the barracks, Jason is jumping from bed to bed to bed to bed. Why? Why? There's nowhere to go.
'Cause
We're just waiting for the circle
we,
to change.
We need to talk to his parents because I have a feeling this is not behavior that's unique to the gaming. And he's just probably been like this since he was a kid.
Did you
And I
ever
think-
take Ritalin?
I did not. If there was
Probably
such
needed
a
it.
thing. Yeah, probably.
He just got the belt, Ken, and he deserves it every time.
The spaghetti spoon.
The back of the spoon, baby. Oof. That's why I don't like wooden spoons. And I will have to say, like we've played some good games lately, and I think we've been playing pretty well as a team. And I know it's fun. It's fun to win. Now maybe we do need to move up to the the one the kids say only counts. Maybe we need to move to
Well,
the.
we've won that
never
before.
won. We've never won before. I think
Yeah,
one time. One time we
we've
did.
won.
I can remember.
Yeah, I think one time. But the only problem with BR is one thing we don't do as much as we should do is buying UAVs and things like that. Which we have to do more of in that game to win, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's go play.
Yeah, let's go play. All right. So thanks everybody for joining, and thank you for the listener for listening, and then we'll call it a wrap. So this is Old Guys Playing Games with Ken.
Isn't it the Jays?
No, after
it's
K
Stuart.
goes to S. Oh my God! This is horrible.
He got me on that too, Stuart. I'm an idiot.
This is Old Guys
Okay.
Playing Games. I'm Ken.
Josh,
Let's do.
Oh my God!
Oh my god!
You just said it was me.
just say your name. Who cares?
Say my name. Say my name. All right, sir.
I'm Ken.
Ken, I'm Stu.
Jason.
Josh,
See ya.
done. Bye.
Bye.